You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Looking forward to getting our week together. Started off right on our Motivation and Mindset Monday. Most Mondays, we are talking about what are the critical few factors that we can complete in order to move our lives forward. Whether it be with relationships, our health, our career, our body, our spirituality, whatever it might be, whatever's important to you is what I want to help you move forward in life on. But today what I want to do is I want to be able to try to dissect that process. And by the end of the show, I want you to know and really believe that you have a lot more power within your control to take back your days and to be able to just get yourself an hour or 2 hours a day in order to work on those few factors that I absolutely know will enable you to have a strong end to 2019. And with that, I want to talk about how to look at this last quarter because it's important. You may think that you have 4 months left to be able to achieve a lot of the goals that you wanted, but it's not quite the case. And I want to show you that. So as I look at, and I wanted to do this as a new topic for the show. And I spoke a little bit about this. I'll allude to it in a few moments to episode 1186 of the Cabral Concept. But what I want you to always be doing, and I do this every single season, kind of like the detox, right? This is essentially a detox for my life. It's a detox for how I look at my schedule and if I'm on track to achieving what it is that I want to achieve. So this is what I call that 1,000-minute check-in, and it's an audit of my day. So you might, if you're good with math, you might say, well, there's more than 1,000 minutes in a day. There's 1,440 minutes in one day. So I just use my simple math here and I go, okay, 24 times 60 minutes in a day, and I'm at 1,440. But I know that I'm going to use 440 of those for sleep. That would equal about 7.5 hours. So that's what I look at it. And then as I subtract that, because I typically get 7.5 hours of sleep in a day, some people need more, some people do need less. And I've done a show on that based on your Ayurvedic composition, based on the time of the year, etc. But if we use that just as simple math and we subtract the 7.5 hours, we now have 1,000 minutes. And I use this as my audit, and I want you to do the same. Recently, I did this with a couple team members of mine, and they were overwhelmed with all the different projects they had and working with coaching clients, etc. And I said to them, all I want you to do is look at your 8 hours of work per day. And I want you to build that into your calendar. And I want you to do it either as 15-minute, 20-minute, or half-hour blocks, but not hour blocks. I want you to break them down a little bit further. So every half-hour block would be your 30 minutes, right, of your day. So I asked them, since we don't want to jump from project to project too quickly, let's do them in 30-minute blocks. So this person was allotted 16 30-minute blocks per day, which made up their 8-hour schedule. They have family. This is multiple people, but they both have families. And they both have other commitments and they want to exercise. So I said, great, there's time enough for everything. Because if we look at our 1,000-minute day, we have to understand that if we divide, and you'll be able to do the math, right? If we divide 1,000 minutes by 60, we're going to get 16.66 hours. So we look at that, we say, okay, well, let's subtract right away 500 minutes, okay? Now, you might not work for a virtual company like all of our people are, but you might say, okay, I have 8 hours of work for the day, and 500 minutes is just a little over 8 hours work. I think 8 times 60 is 480, so it's an extra 20 minutes. So, okay, that is your work, right? So now you say, okay, within that block, and you could do this for your work, which is actually something that I highly recommend. I really do. So I just recommend whether you love your job, you don't love your job, if you have any control over it at all, be highly productive. Really take control of your job as well. Even if you don't love it, do it to the best of your ability. because you'll find that when you leave your work at the end of the day, if you did give it your best, you actually feel a sense of satisfaction. But if you just go through the motions because you don't like your work, you don't like your boss, you don't like products you're offering, or whatever it might be, you don't have a lot of passion and purpose. But if your passion isn't necessarily the products that you're doing, but your actual work itself, then that can give you a lot of meaning. And so I really do recommend that. Companies notice, they really do, that you think that the work you're doing on a daily basis, nobody really sees. Believe me, people see it. They honestly do. And what you put out in the world is what you get back. So do your best work, put good work out there. It will come back to you. It will come back to you with a new job offer, a promotion, whatever it might be. But trust me, the world, the universe will recognize you. And that goes for everything. If you've been struggling to lose weight, put forth your best effort. That's it. Even if it's not paying off right yet, it will. You simply have to keep putting forth your best effort. Those efforts will lead then to someone else with the blueprint, the plan that will be able to lead you to exactly what you want. So let's use those 500 minutes. Let's subtract them from our 1,000 minutes per day. What are you left with? Well, you're left with 500. But I know a lot of people out there, they have a commute, whether they're taking their kids to school or whether they're commuting to their job. Well, let's put in a big commute. Let's put in 100 minutes. Let's say basically 50 minutes each way of either getting to your kids to school or you commuting to work. Okay, so now we have 100 minutes there. 100 minutes taken away, you're still left with 400 minutes for the day. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, but I have no time now. Where is all this time going? Well, I did a show on this, and I don't want to rehash that today. So I would love you after listening to this show, because I want to look at big picture today. I would like you to go to stephencabral.com/1186. Or what I can do is I can even link that show up at stephencabral.com/1305. And I'll embed that show right in there as well. Maybe you're already on that show notes page today. Make it easy for you. So if we have 400 minutes left after our 8-hour and 20-minute day, 7.5 hours of sleep, and a 100 minutes of commuting per day, 50 minutes each way, we're left with 400 minutes, which is still 6.6 hours, right? So about 6.5 hours. So that is what my show 1186 was on. And so it's the 6 hours a day that you have, right? It's that hour or two before work. It's that 3-4 hours after work. Where does it go? What is it? And it doesn't even count necessarily your lunch hour, or you can put your lunch hour in there. Like, what is it? Is it just like, oh, I just kind of, go along with everybody and I go out to whatever? Well, you can choose to do that, or you can choose to do something else. And what I try to do is when I look at certain situations in life, there's things that you're going to have to do, right? That's just part of living. You just have to do certain things in life. Now, you don't have to do them forever, but maybe the current situation you're in. But you can also choose to do different things. So if you're always hanging out with the same group of people and you simply don't feel that those lunchtime gatherings and going out is serving you, you don't have to be rude, but you can actually excuse yourself a day, 2 days a week, and then maybe every day and say, well, I'm using this lunch hour now to study for a new certification or to study for whatever it might be, or to use it for self-improvement. You might be doing coaching sessions during that hour. You might be going to the gym during that hour and doing a half-hour workout. You might be reading. You might be listening to MP3s. I don't know what you're going to use that time for, but I'm telling you right now, you can make that hour count. And if that hour, 1 hour at lunch doesn't seem like anything, I agree with you, right? But if it's 5 hours a week, because the weekends you're totally with your family or your partner, whatever it might be, if I add those 5 hours up, and I add those up even over just a 50, let's give you 2 weeks off a year, and I add that up over 50 weeks, I'm looking at 250 hours, right? So that matters. 250 hours. I mean, you could do anything and know more than the majority of people in this world, right? So 250 hours, I'm guaranteeing you that's going to equal at least 25 books on a topic, right? I mean, that is going to make you an expert compared to most people on that topic. And it could be anything. Again, I break it down really simply, and I give myself an audit. That's what today's podcast is going to be about. That's what I'm talking about right now, is how am I doing in my relationships? Did they falter over the summer, or did they improve? How's my career going? Did it falter during the summer, or did it improve? Same with my body, same with my health, and same with spirituality. what area needs a little bit of a boost right now? And I look at that, I truly audit it, and then I can begin to use some of those hours for self-improvement in any of those areas. And I keep saying self-improvement, like even in relationships. Well, my relationships are going to get better the more I work on myself. That's the truth. I don't need to work on anybody else. That's the thing. You don't get to do work on anybody else. They have to do the work themselves. It goes back to my favorite quote. My favorite quote, and I just believe that the world would be such an amazing place. And it already is. Don't get me wrong. The world is an amazing place. But it could even be better if we followed that quote by Jim Rohn that said, I'll take care of me for you if you'll take care of you for me. And it's a beautiful thing because we're always trying to hey, how can I help you? How can I do this? Well, the truth is that, yes, we need to help those who can't help themselves. There's no doubt about that. And that's what service is all about. As you get more and you're given more and you're blessed with more, be more grateful, give more to others. That's without a doubt. Not only does it feel great to give to others, you will see it multiply coming back to you. I'm pretty sure that's been written about since the dawn of time. And I believe it's the truth. I really do. But give and give back for the right reasons. Give back because you're grateful for the position that you're in. Now, maybe you need to be helped out in one of those 5 main areas that I talk about. Well, that's okay. You can ask for that help. I ask for help all the time. Again, whenever. So I want to get more into video for the new year. I don't know anything about video, right? I know about how to shoot a video on my phone. That's about it, right? I don't know about lighting. I don't know about how to publish and all that different type of stuff. So what will I do? I will ask for someone's help in that area. A videographer, a video editor, a social media-based person. I will ask them. I don't want to be proficient at it. I can do that on my own. I can be okay at something new. What I want to do is become great at it because anything I'm putting my time towards, I want to be great at that. Not from an ego-based perspective, but I want to try to do my best work. That's it. I might not be as great as someone else, but that's okay because this isn't me against anyone else. This is simply me against me. And it's not a competition against me. It's how much can I get out of me, right? How much can I do in this area? And then if I'm not comparing myself to anyone else, then there's no judgment. I don't feel bad about me when my first 50 videos aren't very good or my first 50 podcasts probably weren't that great, right? But here's the thing. I practiced, I tried, I didn't give up. I was willing to learn and willing to go forward. And I knew that from the beginning because I was doing this for self-improvement, for moving forward. And I felt like I had a message that the world needed. I believe that. Now, maybe not everyone, but I know that our group of people, our community, can use that for themselves, and they can also share it with other people that could use this message as well. And now we have our integrative health practitioners, and they can use it to learn, they can use it to grow, and again, they'll make it their own, and then they'll pass it on with many thousands of other people. And that's really what this is all about, right? Because I've learned from others, and now I'm passing it on. And the people that I learned from, well, they learned from someone else. This started with many, many generations. It's one of those nice things when I was in an internship in Sri Lanka, and the head doctor, the head medical director actually for this particular clinic was also the medical doctor for, I apologize, I don't know if it's the president or prime minister previously. And their knowledge base, their Ayurvedic knowledge base, because this was an Ayurvedic internship, actually it was passed down from a friend's father. So their father, and this was very uncommon because typically you would learn from your parents and you would do that same trade. But I don't believe that this doctor, who was 60-something at the time, had a father, and his friend's father basically broke tradition and taught him as well. Well, I think he was so grateful that he took this to such a high level. And again, this was taught from knowledge passed on to him, not necessarily the formal schooling that most doctors went to, became so proficient that he actually worked in one of the highest places. Now, that's an outlier, right? That's not typically the case. But it just goes to show that someone living their highest purpose, doing their absolute best, called to serve, and just taking it to that next level. And I really believe it is gratitude, right? So, I didn't think that I would ever get well. It took me much longer than it should take any human being alive. 10 years is too long for anyone to get well. But eventually, I learned what I needed to learn. Now, maybe it took me that long because I had many lessons to learn and that I would then be able to share more. And that's how I choose to look at it. But at the end of the day, what I can say is over those 10 years of trying and failing and trying so many different times, that I was accumulating knowledge. I didn't know it at the time, but I was realizing what really works in the real world and what doesn't. I was realizing which lab tests gave the best data and which didn't, right? Because there's a lot of popular ones that really find a take and they're being marketed out there as the best, but they're not the best. They're only the best from a marketing perspective in that maybe someone can make some money on them, but they're not the best for the end person, that's for sure. So we learn, right? Nothing that you've done into your up to this point in your life is wasted. For sure, I don't believe that at all. Because even if you switch into a different field of study and work, well, you're taking with you the knowledge that you had from your previous position. All of that does matter. And what you're learning too in the relationships that didn't work out is everything that you don't want in the future, how you can become better, going back to self-improvement, so that you're better for the next person. And I really believe that you're always doing your best and you have the other person's best intentions in mind. It's so hard to go wrong. It really is. You're not looking at other people as if they're trying to do wrong to you or that there's any reason to be jealous. Because if you think the best of the other person, you're really going to be having and enjoying life so much more. There's none of the jealousy. There's none of the one-upping each other. It's simply being with each other for the sake of being with each other because you like something in that other person that resonates with you. Most likely it's multiple factors that you both get equal joy from, and that you don't need to do anything. You simply need to be the best you, and the other person already likes that about you. So do more of that, right? Don't always try to predict like, hey, this is what I think this person's going to like. Okay, well, do more of what they were attracted to you in the first place about. Don't change you. Most likely they like you, right? So try to be a better version of you. And the same goes for honestly anything. I mean, really, with weight loss, I do many, many shows on weight loss and body transformation. But the truth is this, is that everybody can lose the weight. They really can. For some people, it's easy. For others, it's really challenging. It honestly is. And that's why being in this field now for over 20 years in terms of body transformation, I know how difficult it can be for some people, how frustrating it can be for some people. There's always an answer, but sometimes that answer, even when we know it, it doesn't come to fruition for months. And that's the hard part. Because when you're renewing cells and you're rebalancing cells and you're rebalancing hormones and blood sugar, it takes time. I wish I could say that it happens in 5 days, but it doesn't always work that way for everyone. It simply doesn't. So we all have our own path. We're all on a different, unique path in life. But we can share those experiences with each other. And it's okay sometimes to be frustrated in life. I think a lot of times that we say, well, every day has to be pure bliss. Well, maybe, I used to think that as well. Now every day is enjoyable for me, even when it's not exactly always going my way, because I realize like, oh, okay, this is one of those losses that I'm accumulating along the way, right? But it's not my entire book. This isn't even a chapter in my book. This is a page. Today I'm going to take the L, right? Today I'm going to take the loss, but I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to have bigger wins in the future, more successful, sustainable wins, because I'm learning from today's loss. And that's okay. I'm willing to take the small losses to feel like I won overall in life. And again, what's the win coming from? Well, not from dominating any type of competition or other people, but it's simply looking at my life, looking back and saying, this was a life well lived. I had some losses. I had more wins. I had a lot of fun along the way. And I also maximized my days, weeks, months, and years. So for the end of this show, I want you to look at this. I love 2 main times of the year for really like moving forward. I talked a couple months ago about that 6-month assessment for the year, but I'll tell you right now, I get the most traction and movement January 1st, of course, the start to a fresh year. Most people do. I'm no different, but I don't want to talk about that today. That will come soon enough. What I want to talk about is right after summer, right? So I know it's different in Australia and a lot of other friends listening to the show, but you're moving in your different seasons as well, right? So we're moving into fall. And for me, this is important, right? Very, very important because I'm saying, at least in New England, it's a little different, right? It's a little different in other parts of the country, but we really do have 4 seasons. So it's already starting to get cool. And kids are going back to school. We're getting back into routines literally starting this week. And so what I look at it as, okay, for me, I take two summers. It'd be nice. I take 2 months during the summer. It's July and August. Kids are out of school. I try to really get that balance that I look for in life. Now, remember, a lot of people are like, oh, I need a balance every day. Not for me. I need to get in that maximum amount of time, like that real, like those deep bonding times, like in much larger chunks and much more hours. And I get that in July and August with my kids being out of school. We go to Maine. We try to enjoy a lot more family time. We have a lot of fun, and it's mainly in nature. We don't have a TV up here. We don't have TV. So all we do is we do the things that you're like, oh, well, yeah, those are the best memories, right? The best memories aren't watching TV. The best memories are going wild blueberry picking with our kids, taking them to the farm, letting them run around outside, playing some soccer in the backyard, taking them to the beach, going out for, like a leisurely breakfast and eating outside in the back patio. Just those little things. Simple, right? Nothing expensive, nothing extravagant, just getting out there and enjoying time, with each other. So that's what it's all about. Now, back to school. We've got sports after school, all sorts of commitments. It's wild, right? But here's the thing. 90 days. This is what you have. You don't have 4 months to the end of the year. You have September, you have October, and you have November. Here's why. When December starts setting in, for most people, that's a little bit more of a downtime month. Not a lot of new projects. I'm not saying you're not working. Of course, I'm still working every day, all of those different things. But it's not like a lot of new rollouts for new projects for your life, not a lot of new sports for the kids. You're wrapping up. If you're in school right now, you're taking your finals for that semester, etc. Well, same here. Like during the holidays, it's more of that family time. I'm making sure that we are going to the holiday parties, that we're, enjoying time as a family for sure. So what I look for is a true 90-day sprint. I'm going to get in and maximize my September, October, November. And a lot of that for me is going out and speaking. It's doing interviews. It's running seminars. It is formulating new products. It's going to be getting into new things that will drive my vision forward. And then for my family, it's taking my girls to soccer practice, right? And it's being able to make sure that I'm home and that we're doing dinner together, that we are back in the routine for everything. I'm taking them swim lessons on the weekend, like all of those different types of things. But also for my body and my health, it's a time to recalibrate. I'll run a couple labs this September, ones that I want to retest to make sure my numbers are good, and that I also want to make sure that I'm getting to the gym and that it's not more of the outdoor workouts I might be doing for the summer, enjoying being outside, that it's a formal workout routine, that I'm in there, that I'm getting in my workouts, because I know that if I'm out of the gym doing informal workouts for too long, well, then the body transformation is going to start to slide, right? And then in terms of spirituality, well, for me, this fall, I'm looking at how can I deepen that? What can I do? Can I get back into a true dedicated meditation practice? I want to see how that looks like. So I'm mapping all of these things out actually this week. That's why a lot of times I talk about what's going on in my life. Sometimes it's what I talk about my practice. Sometimes it's what I'm talking about with my team or family. Tomorrow's podcast is going to be an important one. It's to really assess and make sure that you're assessing where you're at in life. In terms of health, don't wait. You honestly can't wait 5 years, and I'm talking about tomorrow. Don't wait that long before beginning to do a check-in with yourself. So what I'm looking at right now, and I've talked about this before, kind of like the 12-week year, and I'll always do a show at the end of the year, beginning of the year, to talk about this. But you have the opportunity right now, over the next 90 days, to make this your best year yet. You really do. And it does not matter to me if you didn't have a great first 3 quarters to this year, because it's all about momentum. And if you finish this year strong and you begin to move forward with whatever opportunity lies in front of you, and a lot of times you need to make those opportunities, you need to seize them. But whatever your goals are, if you can begin to move forward this week on those, map out the plan like I'm doing, then next week you're right into it. You are mapped out into that plan. I am using what I gave to those team members. I'm putting in my gym blocks of time, okay? Those are in my calendar. Taking my girls to soccer practice, that's in my calendar right now. Swim lessons on the weekend, that's in there as well. If I'm doing video now, that's in there. It's in the calendar. Remember, you have to schedule it in order for it to actually happen. I'm telling you, I'm just like anyone else. Our schedules are going to fill themselves if we do not take control of them and we do not put in a little time to make sure that we get what we need out of life and for our family and for all those that count on us, it's just not going to happen. We just like the waves and the tide, we just move with the tide and the waves just keep rolling in one right after another unless we decide to change things. And that's what I want you to do right now. That's why I said I want you to take that 1,000-minute audit of your day, okay? I'll give you the 500 minutes for work. That's 8 hours and 20 minutes. I'll give you 100 minutes for commute, okay? That is now 50 minutes each way. You're down to 400 minutes. What I want you to do right now is decide, how are you going to use those other 6.5 hours per day? We all get the same amount of hours, essentially. I want you to be one of those people where your friends look at you, your family looks at you and say, how do you accomplish so much in one day or 1 week? And I'm telling you right now, if you take a true audit of your day, I have no doubt that's what people will be saying about you very shortly. Thank you so much for tuning into today's Mindset and Motivation Monday. If I can ever be of help, if my team can be of help, just let us know. Email in at support@equilibriumnutrition.com. Head on over to cabralsupportgroup.com. Meet friends over there from all over the world. Ask your questions, give advice, share success stories. We would love to hear from you. Again, thank you so much. I'm grateful to have you as part of this community. Have an amazing rest of the day. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.